It's time for some action, and the action is hashtag defund Sadiq, right? Hashtag defund the London mayor.
Raheem Kassam slams Sadiq Khan's leadership. This city deserves better. You're not going to believe how quickly this story caught fire. While the big headlines were focused on international politics, something explosive was happening right here in London. Raheem Kassam, commentator, political firebrand, and never one to hold back, has just launched one of his most pointed critiques yet of Sadiq Khan's time as mayor. And this wasn't a passing remark in an interview. This was deliberate, focused, and aimed straight at City Hall. He says Londoners are being let down at every turn, from safety on the streets, to the state of public services, to the rising pressures of daily life. And whether you agree with him or not, his comments have clearly struck a nerve. So, what actually happened? Earlier this week, during a live broadcast to his audience, Kassam shifted his usual global political commentary squarely onto the capital's leadership. He painted a picture of a London that's losing its edge and forgetting what made it great. From his perspective, crime feels more visible, public spaces less cared for, and big infrastructure promises slow to materialize. He also suggested there's been too much focus on headline-friendly projects rather than tackling the gritty, everyday issues that affect ordinary Londoners. One of his sharpest lines: "If the mayor's office can't even get the basics right, how can we expect them to get the big stuff right?" And this is where it gets politically interesting. Kassam isn't an elected official, but his voice reaches hundreds of thousands. And he's tapped into something many politicians fear: public frustration that cuts across party lines. Within hours of his comments going live, social media lit up. Some applauded him for saying what they feel others are too scared to admit. One tweet read, "Finally, someone with a platform is holding Khan to account." Others pushed back, accusing him of painting an overly bleak picture. A counterpost said, "London's challenges are real, but we're still one of the safest, most prosperous cities in the world." Let's keep it in perspective. Inside City Hall, sources say the mayor's team is aware of the remarks but unlikely to engage directly. One insider reportedly told a political blog, "You don't fuel a fire by throwing more wood on it. We have a record to stand on, and that's what we'll focus on." But in politics, silence can be a gamble. Every unchallenged criticism risks becoming part of the wider public narrative. And that's exactly why Kassam's comments could have a lasting effect, especially with local elections creeping closer. London's history shows this isn't new. Ken Livingstone, Boris Johnson, and even Khan himself in earlier terms have all faced moments where public mood turned sharply critical. What's different now is the speed of it. A single clip, posted online, can rack up millions of views before the evening commute. And Kassam's remarks aren't happening in a vacuum. They come amid ongoing debates about urban safety, economic opportunity, and whether the capital's leadership is truly listening to the people who live and work here. Political analysts are already weighing in. "This is about framing the narrative ahead of the next election," one commentator explained. "If Kassam and others can plant the idea that London's in decline under Khan, it doesn't matter if all the statistics agree. Perception is king. And perception, that's where politics is won or lost. Because it's not just about policy papers or annual reports. It's about how people feel when they step outside their front door, when they take the tube, when they look at their council tax bill. The stakes here are big. If Khan ignores Kassam, he risks looking out of touch. If he responds head-on, he risks giving Kassam even more of the spotlight." Some insiders believe the mayor might try a third route, focusing heavily on visible wins in the coming months: cleaner streets, safer borough initiatives, and public announcements highlighting improvements. But will that be enough to shift the conversation? Kassam, for his part, shows no sign of backing down. In his own words, "The people of London deserve a city that works for them, and I'm not going to stop saying it until something changes." And maybe that's why this moment matters more than a typical back and forth between a politician and a critic. Because this isn't just about Raheem Kassam and Sadiq Khan. This is about the story London tells about itself. Is it still the thriving, resilient capital that bounces back from every challenge? Or is it drifting slowly, but steadily away from what made it one of the greatest cities in the world? One thing is certain: this conversation isn't going away anytime soon. If this is just the beginning, how much louder will it get before the next election? Right now, that's the question hanging in the air unanswered, and growing louder with every week passing.